Eddie G. TV. Eddie G TV. Eddie G TV. Eddie G TV. Eddie G TV. Boom. Another episode. Eddie G TV. We back. Got Scot free.
Upper class white trash, baby.
It's been quite some time you've been on the show, but I think overall, like I just passed 600 videos. I think you might be in the top 5 of people like that have been on the most.
Like I say, this is probably my third or fourth thing here, right? Because I mean, I know I've done have I done a Breaking Records official, but I've done a No Condom. I've done an Eddie G. I did an Eddie G back in the a couple Eddie G's back in the BCB Charlie's era. I know I sat in the basement, Dolo's crib, your old crib back there. Maybe 5, 6, somewhere in there. Yeah, I've been here.
There's other appearances of just like acapellas and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's true. I dropped a couple things.
I'm planning on bringing that back very soon, so check for that.
I got bars.
So I've been watching like your almost like your next leg of your career. It was almost like you like kind of like I almost felt like it was kind of like you slow down for a certain point, and then all of a sudden you're just, this is like a new leg to your career. I think all of us have been doing this for a very long time. Like you were on the show very early. I think all of us have had their downtime, and but the people that really are fuck with us, we come back.
No, but see, this is something that I've talked about a lot before, about the idea of writer's block. That when people they're trying to force themselves to write, and they don't have something to write. When you don't have something to write, don't go live again. And I had enough things that went on in my life like that. I went and just lived my life, so that at the point that when inspiration strikes, if I'm up at 2:30 in the morning to take a leak, but I've got to be up for the next 90 minutes writing because inspiration struck, I ride that because I don't force my pen when it's not there. So my life took over. I mean, you know a little bit, like my house burnt down, you know what I mean? I separated my old lady, boom, boom, boom. A lot of things changed. So I took some time to reestablish a new foundation in my new life, get myself back together before I started speaking again. So, and then when they approached me, they're like, okay, you want to battle Jay Free. Like, they had offered me a couple of people before, but Chubbs, cool, him and I are friends. He's like, yeah, you want to battle Jay Free? You both have the same last name. Cool, you know, it could make for a good battle for you to return to.
Yeah.
I did well. And then since then, the orders kind of came in, which sucks because it wasn't until the 2-on-2 with Tipsy that I did well again. I thought I dropped the ball against Chetty. I liked my writing, but I didn't deliver the way that I wanted to, and then I choked real bad against Made Wade in Ottawa, which brutal. I should have washed Made Wade. Do you
remember? I remember like in the spot I had when I lived with Dolo's sister, Vicky. When I asked you who would be like somebody that you'd want to battle. I think it was like our first sit down, and I think you said Made Wade.
Especially then, he was in the GZ tournament. He was doing well for himself. Yeah. He was another guy that made music, was a rapper. So I'm like, okay, we can actually go and have a rap battle where these guys rap. It's not just punchliney. It actually is very rhythmic and very. But given the opportunity, I went down, sucked too many gins, and practiced in the hotel room and rewrote my bars the night before and all the rest of it. Then there you go. Yeah. And it's different, man. Like without having a camp, like me and Tipsy have established a thing. This whole term battle camp is us. When people refer to it as that. And I'm sure that whatever we do is the same thing that you and your people do. The difference is that we run it very intensely. Like to the point that when you have your rounds written, when we go practice it, when we start drinking, you've got to run your full round before you get another beer. If you can't wrap that round, you don't get another beer. And as soon as you slip, you start again. Slip, start again. So if you can get through all your things, we find out how many beers it takes until your voice goes. How many beers it takes until your memory goes. You know, like all these little kind of idiosyncrasies that you can really tailor make your performance as a result of it. I didn't do any of that for those two battles. But I did it for Jay Free and I did it for the 2-on-2. And you see the difference in the product that I create using that theory. Yeah. So I've done it this time again, and me and A1 should be a good battle.
I like how you say like you guys have your camps. Like a lot of times, like I'll be at work and I'll think of like some like crazy shit, and I'll just go up to like a random person and just say it.
You need that outlet. You need to bounce it off someone.
If I get a laugh, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna drop that in the pod.
Yeah,
I'm gonna drop that line in the pod. Like, so it's almost like I'm always constantly kind of like figuring out, okay, like different topics to talk about, different just little punchlines to say in the.
See, and that's one of the reasons that I don't have a rhyme book. Which, I mean, it would probably benefit me for me to write shit down, but because I'm always writing shit on the fly, I just kind of I tuck it away behind an ear, and I'll go back and find it later. You know, like it's just the way that things work. Like you've watched me work for years and years without a book in front of you, and you're like, "What are you doing?" I'm just Rain Manning in the corner as I walk through the cave of my head and find the pieces that I need to weave this thing together.
The reason why you stopped the notebook.
Oh yeah, well I stopped writing legitimately because everybody's name that I wrote down in the book died.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. I brought it up before, but like I stopped battling the first time not just because my life got crazy. I had 8 filmed battles and 4 of those guys had died. Well, it's just it was like responsibility. I wasn't worried about it, but I'm like, if this plays a role in it, if your name goes into this book, and inside of a year of that you die, fuck, bro, should I stop putting these guys' names in this book? Like,
right?
Like I feel a little bit like weird about it. So
just get a different book or something, maybe. Like
that's what I was just about to say. It was the same book.
It was the same book. My daughter bought me that book. Fucked up, bro.
Yeah. Speaking of, like, rest in peace to all them, and but like I remember like when I was first hearing about you, like people were like, oh, he had a fucking debatable with Bender. And I was like, yo, that right there, like that puts you like in a very high spot in battle rap. I think like automatically having a debatable with somebody that good. Like,
see now it's funny. It was like the perfect storm of things to happen though, because here, Bender wasn't who we all know him to be yet. Like he was, but none of us knew it yet because it was only his second battle. He had only done Barracuda, so nobody knew the extent of his writing. So even as much as I was upset that when I lost the judgment online, Pat Stay's breakdown of it is so accurate when he says this guy has this whole otherworldly feel. We don't have someone like this in battle rap right now whose believability is so high, whose scheming and wordplay and knowledge is all this so otherworldly to all the people compared, like levels above. So we didn't have someone like that, and he was the first one of that breed. And I'm glad that I got to look back and say that on my resume I'm another stepping stone into the spotlight that got shone on him, because the reality was like we talked. Like, I was my dude, cool, whatever. Like, but he was a freak of nature. He's a once in a lifetime kind of writer that we will see in this. Like, he is as good as any writer you want to give all the accolades to in the world, Nobel writers and all the rest of it. Like his pentameter, his knowledge, his strength from his voice and his perspective to know exactly where to talk from and how to have it be digested. His Tom Waits cover, the thing on the roof, A Small Change, is one of the best. Like, who would have thought you would have covered a Tom Waits song and made it better?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Tom Waits is a fucking freak of nature, and you took a piece of his thing and made it your own, and it's, I don't know, man. There's very few people I'm going to meet in my life that have the artistic prowess that he did. So I'm glad to be another stepping stone on his trail. I'm glad that I got his name on my resume. So
yeah, definitely. I'm a big fan of his battles and his music. It is.
That's what I mean. He's a really talented guy.
Oh, for sure. So yeah, like what would you say is the difference between King of Dot, like, because you were early, and like you're back on now? Like what would you say is like some big differences?
The big differences I found right now are that the amount of people that are battle rappers. Because I remember at the time that like everybody wanted to be a rapper, and like to say you were a battler was kind of a niche. You kind of put yourself in a pocket where like those guys that really were, we always wore it as a badge of honor. That's what sets me apart. I'm not just this guy that raps in his mom's basement. Like, no, I go to war. Like, I'm a, you know what I mean? The difference between a nobleman and a gladiator. Like, that was the difference to me. And right now, there's so many guys that couldn't exist in music that couldn't be rappers without battle rap. Yeah. And that's not a problem, but I feel like it's like these guys that only do this lets it be a fruitless tree. Yeah. You're not raising your own stock being a battler for no reason. Like if you're having fun and you're like cool, I get it, but it's just
like
the fundamentals are lost in it. Like it's not a rap battle anymore. Now it's a roast battle. You know what I mean? Like it's
I personally like I'm a big fan of battle rap, but I know like just my style of writing, I don't see myself ever becoming like a battle rapper and battling because my style of writing like it just doesn't go there. But I respect it like huge. Like I like the intricate shit like people do like the schemes and
that's one of the things that I think that that battle rap really does, and that's something that like as much this is almost a counterpoint to what I just said. Yeah. That all those people that are just battle rappers that are stretching the capabilities of lyricism without a pentameter, without a beat, without being held to a metronome or any of that shit. Right. Those things are inspiring the people that do make music. I look at
For sure.
I look at Drake as my example. There was one album that every battle rapper really celebrated, and it was at the time when who was he hanging out with? And you could tell that, like, his punchlines were heavy. You know what I'm talking about. And I'm not even a Drake fan, but, like, there was something that happened there where all of a sudden, all of the underground heads were on board with the Pop-Tart shit.
That was because, too, he did the freestyle battle in the garage with
Bishop
Brigante. Drake, they did
for the watch. Yeah. See, and like all of a sudden it gave you, and he showed up at DNA vs. Disaster.
Yeah.
Right? So like all of these things, it started to give, so when we would hear him punchline, you're like, oh, yeah, it was a tip of a hat to us. Yeah. You know, that we're out here punchlining professionally, so to speak. That was a really cool moment in battle rap, and that was great to see the first real mainstream crossover that worked well. Like, that's how you parlay it. We watched Cannabis come back and try and battle. We watched Budden come back and Cassidy to Mixed Emotions. But Drake was the biggest rapper in the world at that time, and all he did was show up to give a cosign. Yeah. Tip his hat, have a 1-2 bar written about him. It was the best move to bridge the gap.
Which is crazy, too, because they asked, like, Busta Rhymes, were you there for that?
I don't even remember what the fucking question you asked me was. I'm high now.
Yeah, we're podding.
Oh, what's the difference between battle rap now and then?
Oh, yeah.
It's over flooded. Like, I feel like I never thought there needed to be 1,000 little leagues until I saw 1 million rappers come out, and now there needs to be 1,000 little leagues. There needs to be the guys that rise, that are the cream of the crop, that rise and then scoop the top, bring those guys together. Like the same way that I built BCB. None of these guys should look at their leagues as something that competes with the big leagues that are. There are already major leagues. You know, if you run a backyard wrestling league, you don't compete with WWE. You raise the guy that's going to go to WWE eventually, you know? No, so that's what these little leagues are for. You don't need to try and be King of the Dot or be URL. You need to raise the guys that will go there and then be proud of your team. You know what I mean? Exactly. Slap them on the back and tell them good game. Like, that's what it's about. Like, what good is there being a fucking 35-year-old great fucking player if you don't show the next generation your playbook of the plays you learned and let them stand on the shoulders of giants and see further than we did? That's what you're supposed to do as a team captain or as a league owner or whatever. Like, you're raising this next generation up. When you're done, when Organic says, I'm ready to hang it up, he better be damn sure there's a guy ready to go, I'll step right in your sneakers, bro.
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool because I understand his frustration gets to that level. We've all seen whatever, right? Make sure that it's there, because you don't let what you've built, your empire, fall to shit because you put somebody shitty in power. Let it stand. Sit back and sit there and enjoy the rest of the fruit of your labor.
Almost like a...
I know you're going to edit this, that's fine. Where do you see yourself after this then? Because just as a fan, between the two of you, you guys are lyrical geniuses.
See, but my definition of success is so much different that I don't see myself anywhere than I already am. I'm gonna work my job. I'm gonna have my grind. If it affords me a couple of trips, if I can trade the 56 grand I'll make this year for 56 grand in music money, that's my success. You know what I mean? If I can trade it over laterally, if I still have 2 weeks vacation, if I can book myself.
I see that all the time.
You know what I mean?
The exact same thing.
If I can book myself at $1,000 a gig, I will work 50 Saturdays and make my 50 grand. The same way that I do, and I will spend the rest of my time doing everything else. Like it's.
And personally, sorry, I know it's your interview. I'm just honestly a huge fan. I've been following this fucking kid since the 6th grade.
This is Tipsy.
Tipsy.
Yeah.
And,
Big tips, bros.
I watched this man go from proving himself to now these people are lining up for him to wreck them.
Yeah.
Because he's fucking smart. Y'all think we're just drunk in Brantford blowing lines and doing shots.
Accurate.
These motherfuckers are putting in 40 hours a week after their 40 hours a week and researching these motherfuckers.
9 to 5, 5 to 12 o'clock. You see me?
These motherfuckers can tell me the last time somebody they battled collected a fucking check. And they can show them. They might as well show a fucking bank statement. That's the fucking difference. And now and then.
That wins money.
Oh, for sure. And but you're saying like the work ethic, like the 40 hours and the 40 hours. If you really want to do something and be good at it, you guys do that. You guys put your time into battles. Same thing with me. Like I have my 40-hour job. I come home. I get ready. I build topics for podcasts. I'm editing the videos. I'm promoting them. I'm doing different things. And back on a point where you're saying about King of the Dot is King of the Dot, and these people build I got to a point where I was like, when I wanted to restart this show and kind of do it differently, I got to a point, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it, because I was like, everything started becoming so oversaturated. Like when I started doing the interviews, hardly anybody around here was doing interviews, and now
You see, and
then like somebody told me, they're like, hey,
my biggest reflection of that is in my views.
But somebody said to me that's like, well, all these other guys are doing it now, but it's different to be on Eddie G TV than it is to be on this upcoming channel because I have so much history.
See, and I forget about that in myself too, because I forget about the weight that I hold when, like, I'm like, all right, man, I've had a couple of shitty battles, I had a couple of good battles last year, and now I'm coming in, A1's coming off 3 of his best performances. I'm like, fuck, is this really stacked against me? And I forget the weight that I hold from the position that I am. They're like, no, man, like, you've been here a long, long time, like, from the park days to the sold out venues now. Like,
all of us kind of forget that sometimes, eh? And we need to be reminded of, like, oh shit, like I've had people like just tell me like, oh, Eddie G, you're a legend. I'm like, and like they like try and they explain it to me, and I'm like, okay.
When you quote my resume back to me, it looks different than when I look at it, right? Like,
no. That's exactly it right there.
If you pull my resume up and read it to me, it sounds a whole lot different than when I just think about it and go, oh, okay, I've been here and there, and I've done this and that, and whatever. Like,
that's exactly right. When somebody else says your resume,
you read my resume to me, and I go, oh shit, fuck, I forgot all the shit
I did that shit. Like,
and like, even like when we look at shows that I've done, or like things that right now, if you were to book me for, I'd be like, oh, that's nerve wracking, and I forget about doing them. What the Jeffy trying to book me for a wedding, trying to have me host a wedding, and I'm like, fuck, that's fucking stressful, and I forget. I did like 2 or 3 of those in a summer without a thing. I was showing up there with no sleep. You know what I mean? Wipe your nose, put your suit on, and then but still killing it, like with no nerves. And I'm like, it's so funny that when I when I overthink it or whatever, I forget who I am sometimes and what I'm capable of and how well it can be executed with very little of what I call effort, because I'm not trying. It's just happening.
Boom, we cut back in. Don't even notice the cut. Except that I'm talking about the cut. And I'm just going to leave that part in. So
whatever, man.
Yeah,
it's cool. All right.
So, we've talked a lot about battle rap and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But we will come back to it, because there's a little bit more
I've listened.
There's a little bit more that I still want to talk about. But we'll lighten up the subject for a little bit.
Okay.
So, like, titties.
Titties.
Like,
I feel like in the age of ass, titties get a bad rap. You forget that you popped your first boner to titties. You like they get the you get the underrated cool. It's in the era of ass and thighs and all the rest of it. But you forget the quality of a titty, and I feel like
for sure
it's an unsung hero still.
Especially like you're like sometimes like you be like around a girl and you're like, oh shit, look at that ass, and then all of a sudden like she'll just get close to you and the titty will rub against you a little bit, and you're like, shit, I wasn't even appreciating those like.
See, I'm a fan of the especially because I'm a factory worker. I love my shipping and receiving girl with the good 4 or 5 inches of cleavage. And you know what I mean? Yeah. You don't need to be hot. It's not about that. Yeah. But give me a nice little cleave line. Give me a 1-2 when I drop an order off. It's just a nice little, oh yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not around a bunch of dirty motherfuckers. There's a couple of fucking swanging udders out here, and I'm about it. So like, and like I don't even hate on titties. Whatever kind you got, man. I'm a fan of owning your titties. Just whatever they are, man. Be about work with what you got and use it the right way. Like if you're a small titty girl, don't go a double push up and try and sell it as something it's not. Be the athletic girl. Be the gymnast. Be the ass. Be the pretty face. Be the cool thing. Be what you know what I mean? Like
exactly.
Everybody. I posted those memes all the time, man. Every time I see a brand new pair of titties, I just went on a bachelor party, went to the strip club, and like I wasn't a monster, but every time a girl put her titties out, I lick a couple of shots in my brain. I go, yeah, all right, there's another set of titties. You know what I mean? It's a fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's like I get like we see titties all the time, so it's like when you say oh titties, you're like oh titties, but when they're actually out and you're like oh. Titties.
Titties. Yeah,
that's okay.
Yeah,
It's like when somebody just says titties, you're like, oh, whatever. But when they're actually out, it's like,
no, man.
And
I don't know, man. Like I say, they've lost their rep. You know what I mean? Ass came for them, and and right now they have ass came for titties,
and he's potting right now,
but you forget, man. I've smashed an old long back lots of times, but from that front angle where you watch titties bounce, I'm still game. Like, what are you talking about?
For sure. I like to end with that, you know? Like, I'd rather end looking at the titties than end...
I come on faces.
Yeah.
Sometimes titties. Actually, this is another thing I'll comment. Swallowing's overrated. Every dude... I don't care. Cool. Take a... No. Tell me what swallowing does. You could take a nut in your mouth, but after that, it does nothing for me. So you swallowing it, I would rather you spit it on your titties and rub it all over yourself. Like, the fuck you talking about? Swallowing, the act of swallowing is overrated. Whether you take a nut in your mouth or not is a different game.
Okay.
But the act of actually swallowing is far overrated. It gives me no satisfaction.
One thing that I would say about that right there is like when you're nutting and the girl is still sucking, like the whole like if she just like kind of like stops sucking and you nut, whatever. But if she sucks all the way through the whole nut coming out, if
I don't care, fucking puke it back out all over my bag. I gives a fuck. I'm about to wipe out.
If she continuously sucks throughout the whole nut coming out, like
okay, well that's the one exception. If you're gonna let me bury my shit in your neck and I nut into your belly directly, that's a way different game because there's not even a swallow process. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that's a way different game.
Yeah.
But you're going to take a nut in your mouth? I give a fuck. You fucking spit it up in the air and catch it on your ass like a flip cup. Like, I give a fuck. You know what I mean? Just fucking spit it on your titties and say something nasty.
Facts.
So. You missed a key component of this conversation.
Probably.
We heard you last.
No, man, swallowing's overrated. The act of swallowing a nut does nothing for me. If you want to take a nut in your yap, cool. But swallowing it does nothing for me. If you don't want to, then spit it on your titties and say something dirty. But what are you talking about?
I'm not gonna lie, I like that.
I like when it comes back out of the nose.
No, like I love the angry dragon. I said the only exception, the only time I expect a girl to swallow is if I fucking make you go bees deep and I nut down your neck into your fucking right into your belly. She does, trust me.
Oh, I know. I got a girl crush on that bitch because I know she a freak.
Hold on, we walked in here and you're like,
oh, sorry, bro.
It's a 40-minute interview of just titties. I go over, someone come back in, fuck nut. Titties. Like, I'm like, oh, here we go.
Okay, so
Upward and onward.
Okay, so we talked about titties, and I said we'll bring it back to battle rap.
Yeah.
And
yeah, whatever.
I'll bring it back to battle rap. So like how many battles do you think like you see yourself like to like a main card, like a main King of the Dot card, like
I think that potentially me and A1 can go main stage.
Yeah.
I think that A1 has proved himself as someone who's worthy of getting the opportunity to be main stage, and whether the full mass, because that's the thing, like me and Chetty drop main stage and it's at 6,000 views. Me and Jay Free drop GZ and it's at 1,500. So that's the difference in the viewership, right?
Oh,
so
no, I wasn't saying like yeah, I know they put on different but like I'm saying like for like a King of Dot card where it's like just like the whole cards like
yeah
like the big cards. Like
how many do I see me making? I mean,
I see like how long do you see yourself, like how many battles do you think it'll take?
Oh, until to get there?
Yeah.
I mean, I think potentially if me and A1 go and me and the one after that go, then I'll be main stage roster.
Yeah.
Because even right after the J Free, I remember Gully coming up to me and go, yo, GVG, remember GVG, blah, blah. And then Gannick goes up and goes, he's never battled in GZ until today. He's like, every one of his battles has been main stage because there was no GZ. You know, there was only... and he's like, so...
Trying to pull him for the team.
And he's like, oh, so Gannick's like, if you're going to jump on a team, it's Team Gannick. And I know it's all jokes here and there, but that makes me know that I'm weighted at least that point. So as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, I think that by the end of this year, I'll be main stage. Like if I took 4 last year, my goal is to take 5 or 6 this year. I think that if I do well, if I end up on like a 5-1 or a 6-0 record, even a 4-2, but they're all wars, I feel like I could. Upper class white trash, me as a brand, the people that I support has all become a fucking movement. Like there's a certain amount of weight that comes with us now. You know what I mean? We take white trash buses out to events and shit. Like that's true. We rent a school bus and it comes with a fucking original Nintendo, and then you can do whatever the fuck you want on this bus. You got a one-eyed fucking driver. Like it's awesome. Bro. Like, it's awesome. But like we've reached the point that we have a good enough following. We move merch. We make music. We do battles. We make appearances. People who know us even around town. Everyone talks about locally famous. Like you know who Workshop Regime is. You know vicariously who upper class white trash is. Like you know. Yeah. We're okay. So. Because we're already at that point, the branding of us doesn't fall on the league. It just falls on the exposure. You put us in a position, and all of a sudden, we turn 1 school bus into 3 school buses. We turn a couple $1,000s in a merch run into a couple of tens of $1,000s in merch run. Like, you know, and it's just about attention. So we're going to continue to do what we do until all the lights turn and they go, oh, fuck, who the fuck are these guys? So
just make sure it's on check days.
I ain't worried about nothing, man. I'll have fucking check day specials, man.
You got to in this town.
That's right, man. Come with Pampers and fucking mac and cheese. and a download fucking certificate. And
a case of water.
That's right. And a fucking pay-per-view passcode.
Yeah, pay-per-view passcode.
I know. You said mac and cheese. I kind of got distracted for a second because this whole thing is mac and cheese.
This whole thing is mac and cheese.
This whole thing is mac and cheese, for sure. Everything else I burnt off was the other shit, but the mac and cheese just stuck.
All right, what else you got for me?
Okay, so I looked on your page earlier, and I was like, that's pretty interesting. Like I think like the thing with the laundry.
Oh yeah.
The laundry cycle. It was like a bicycle. So you're going and it's spinning like.
But the laundry tub is in the front, so you're
Yeah.
actually washing your laundry, and that's the traction of what you pedal against.
I think that's pretty cool. I think.
I'm a big fan of running away and buying land, bro. I fucking hate the system. Like, I do. I've been saying this for a while. GreenMagicHomes.com. They used to build fucking bomb shelters, and now they build Chia Pet homes, Hobbit homes. It's the dome with the round door, and they grow grass over it, so you just look like a field in a hill. But they're like 16 grand to buy for the 400 square foot bachelor pad, bigger than this joint here. You know what I mean? The biggest one is 3,500 square feet, 5 bedroom, 5 bath, and it's $67,000, bro. You just need to buy land. You don't even need to roof the motherfucker. You grass seed it. It's a chia pet. Like what, bro? I'm telling you. At 16 grand, bro, I'm just waiting. Cool. But by the time I'm 40, I'll cash in my RRSP. I'll buy land, and I'll buy 4 of those bachelor pad ones. I'll stick my daughter in one. I'll stick me in one. I'll stick my old lady in one, and then we get a rental property out to go. I'm saying, man, you just fuck right off. You live your own shit. You get a hunter, you get a gardener, you get a whatever. You have a couple people with jobs, and you just handle your fucking business, bro. I'll build a moat around that motherfucker. Come see me.
It's like this The Sims / RuneScape.
Yo, it's Minecraft. Fuck all you creepers. I'ma dig me a moat. I'ma build me a castle. Faux cheapy. And then I'ma buy a shit ton of guns and come see me. You know what I mean? I'm gonna put everything in my daughter's name so you can't take it from me, and that she will own it for the rest of her life. I will tell her as soon as you have a kid, put it in her name. Fuck your husband. Fuck everything else. The bloodline keeps the property. This will be the fucking castle.
And that's where our kids gotta stick together, because mine ain't gonna have shit.
No, it's cool. Like, you know what I mean? This is what I have to provide for you. When I die, I'm gonna have the 8 grand to bury me, and the rest of it is, here's all my shit. It better be something worth inheriting. So let it be land. Let it be fucking something worth it, man.
You sure you're not indigenous?
I heard
Australian, actually.
I heard somebody say like some very good business point. He's like, hey, you know they're not making more of? He goes, land. He's like, they're making more of everything else. They can't make more land.
That's why there's all that shit on like the other side of the world where they argue over airspace.
It's going to be like that here. Six Nations just stopped the 403 the other day for a pipeline.
Yeah, no, I watched a lot of shit's going down. Things are going to get gnarly quick.
Yeah, real bad.
And like, fuck, because I'm on the fucking fighting side of that argument. Which, like, I'm not. Fuck, I'm going to end up going to fucking war and dying over something stupid.
Dude,
It'll be worth it, but I mean, you know what I mean.
She and I are about to be the first city Indians out there.
Fucking sidewalk Indians.
BCB.
Okay, BCB.
BCB, alright.
Alright.
What it is, what are you gonna say?
That's funny.
Is that coming back?
Yo, potentially, actually.
Scott, what up?
Well,
Yeah,
yo,
what
no,
up?
I know. Okay, so Isaac
what
and
up?
I had this thing. You were there for the first time when me and Isaac weren't friends yet. Remember when we were gonna battle? When it was clearly OG and Prodigy,
Yeah.
and now it's clearly something different. No, there was at a time.
No,
and
I remember.
and so we talked about it. They keep talking about doing squad tours and road tours. Where should it come? They forget about the pocket of battle rap that exists here. I keep telling King of the Dot to throw one here. So I told Tipsy that
I like the thing
on the idea that if King of the Dot does a squad tour here, if you put me versus Tipsy as the main event, you'll draw the whole fucking city. So you don't... Yeah, what, bro? Keep talk from off-screen, Peanut Gallery. So... If they don't need to bring Sharon and whoever, like, cool, do that if you want to. But it doesn't need to be a squad tour like that. Like, just put your stamp on us and let us throw the event here, and that changes things. Like, BCB was always
No,
set
that's-
up as
yeah.
T-ball, right? The same way I talk about these other leagues, to go and apply. But it's at the point now that if it's going to commingle and you want to really come and absorb what is here, then be here and absorb what it is. We know how cheap venues are here. You know what I mean? You guys are struggling to go and, oh, you know, we're not making money at this event and this and that, whatever. I promise you, at $3.50 brown bottles and fucking $5 cover, you're gonna double what you spent to get the venue.
Yeah.
And like, like it's you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
half the venues I can walk in and go, I'm gonna do a thing. And they're like, cool, you want it for nothing? I'm gonna be like, yeah. Like, you know how that goes. Like, it's
Yeah,
so.
no, I do.
And I think that if they came out and actually tasted it.
I don't think I even paid for a venue here ever.
I've never paid for a venue.
No,
Like, I
I've never
haven't.
paid for a venue here.
I am.
So I just feel like if you actually did it, cool. Like, you've done London, you've done a few things. You try and tap the bigger cities. You forget that, like, we used to make this joke all the time. Remember we used to go see fucking the Brethren and them out in TO, and you go, yo, bring me some of that Brantford Kush. And I'm like, why? He's like, because by the time it gets here, it's $10 more. He's like, I know it's coming right through you. Like, we just happen to be this hub that every drug crosses through. So
Yeah.
before your guy steps on it, it's here.
Yeah.
And that's why we are the way we are. Like, we know all that shit in and out. I still get acid. Who still gets acid? I do. It's clean. You can do 2 hits and fall asleep. You wake up with a big smile on your face.
Nobody else
Like, you know, that doesn't happen. Like, we're...
No, nobody's seen that since Woodstock.
No, not microdots or anything. It's all blotter, but... I'm just saying, like, that kind of...
Edit.
that kind of shit all happens. Like, Brantford's this weird kind of hub where we're the biggest fucking small town you've ever seen.
No, it is weird. Like, I remember hearing people say different things about Brantford, and like this is before I really started traveling and being out in different cities and stuff like that. And I always thought everybody was over exaggerating. I was like, and then when I started going to see like other cities, and I hear them talk about their stories, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's.
What was that, a Wednesday, bro? What are you
Yeah,
talking about?
like,
What are you
what,
talking about? This is your story?
Yeah,
25
it's like.
saw that. Fuck, I remember being 12.
It's like, okay, like Brantford is kind of fucked up. Like
When you, but, like,
hearing other stories from other towns, and you're like, oh shit, like
there's such a comfortable level of dirt, but like, like I'm just so but I'm comfortable with it. Like, I know I can look at every face. You got to know the difference between a fucking nose toucher and a neck scratcher, right? Like, if you don't know that walking down the street, then you're not gonna exist here, bro. Like, bro, if you don't know.
yo, talk to him.
Yo, if you don't know the difference between that's real shit. If you don't know the difference between a drunken 2-step and the flocka dance, then you, like, bro, you won't survive. It's fine. You just go get some fucking battered shrimp from Admiral's and catch a cab, bro. It's
Cheese balls.
cheese balls.
You catch
Classic.
George on a good night, you'll get the tzatziki for free.
Yo, like
Sorry for Kings.
yeah, I remember being out in Hamilton. And I was jonesing for some cheese balls one night, and everybody was like, "You mean mozzarella sticks?" I was like, "No."
Yo,
Cheese
you know
balls,
that
like-
Bundy is strictly a Brantford thing?
Yeah.
Everyone else calls it honey hot.
Wait,
Yo, Bundy only exists here, bro. We went to the Snoop Dogg concert, and I'm in the hotel in London, and I'm like, yo, I need a fucking pie with bum bum bum, and I need fucking 3 pounds of Bundy. Like, what's up, Bundy? And I'm like, what are you talking about, man? I need honey, garlic, and hot sauce. So you know what I mean? He's like, oh, you want a honey hot? I'm like, okay. So the whole joke is Lundy don't do Bundy.
Yeah.
That was the right. So.
You started that.
But then when we get our wings, it's just a box of wings, and half of them have honey garlic, and half of them have hot.
no.
It was not. So like they don't do it. We were with Chubbs, and we are like, yo, we'll get a couple pounds of Bundy. He's like, fuck is a Bundy? And I'm like, what? I'm like, oh man, we made meatballs for the King of the Dot pay-per-view. I'm like, I'm making Bundy meatballs. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, honey and hot? Like, what are you talking about, man? Like. Nobody does.
real? Like,
Bundy. Bundy is only.
That makes sense.
Yeah, no, Bundy's only us, bro.
Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I have been in other cities, and like I'd never seen Bundy on a fucking.
Yeah,
menu.
Bundy. I've seen Bundy on menus here.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it is on the menu
Like,
here.
in print,
Yeah.
not even like one you could change. In print, it's a
Yeah.
Bundy.
Yeah.
I used to be
No.
manager of Wild Wing, and because they're a franchise and they got some American, it's Bundy on their menu. Or no, sorry, it's Hot Honey on the Brantford franchise. But you go to any other one, it's fucking Hot Honey.
Bundy.
Ted Bundy, you want some shoes with that?
Yeah,
or not Ted Bundy, Al Bundy.
Yeah,
The other motherfucker that stole shoes.
Al Bundy, one of the best football players of all time.
Fucking poke eye, the Hail Mary, bud. The fucking classic story.
Poke eye.
All right, hit me a taste of that if you can, darling. Because I got to finish this interview and go home and cook dinner. Thank you, that's good.
Tips, you want the last bit?
All right.
Nice. All right, so
Glenn?
That's an answer.
I'm good. So yeah, we're almost done here. But okay, so
I should have stayed home and waited for this to come out.
so this A1 battle.
A1, yeah. Scot free A1.
So like, how many flame emojis am I gonna have to post when I share it? How many flame?
Well,
emojis
I
am
guess
gonna have to-
like we're doing 90-second rounds. We're like fourth battle from the top, which means we're letting everybody shine. Tipsy's main event, awesome. His very first like
Yo.
Congrats.
like well earned,
Congrats.
like you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like
I
cool.
know that, that's what's up.
Me and A1, I can't wait to yell in his face. There's when you battle, it's like it's very close to the feeling of fighting. That like there's some guys that you have that little bit of intimidation, not even intimidation, but you're like, like I know this a banger, you know, and like because I know that A1 is or can be, it's weird that I don't have that feeling. I feel like I'm walking against a scrub. You know what I mean? Which gives me that extra, like, boost in my confidence that I get to, like, kiss my teeth at you kind of thing. Like, fuck you talking about, son? You know, you're going to tell me I'm old and that I fucking retired? Bro, you realize that I fucking was investigated for arson and then I collected $180,000 and then I bought my baby mom out of going to court so that we don't squabble over children. And then I tried to buy a fucking brick from the fucking Cubans. And then and then I didn't have a fucking house, so I collected a year's worth of free hotel vouchers. I took 40 grand in cash and I partied for a fucking year of my life. So like when they're like, "Oh, you retired and you did this," I'm like, "No, I was done writing for a bit and I went and lived." You have no idea where I've been, what I've gone. Like I feel like that moment in Fight Club where Lou comes, I'm fucking Lou, it's my fucking bar. And Brad Pitt lets him punch him in the face 30 times, and then he grabs him and bleeds on him and goes, "You don't know where I've been, Lou!" You know, like, that's what this battle is for A1. Go ahead and bang on me. I get to spit blood in your face and go, "You don't know where I've been, Christopher!" Like, you don't scare me. Are you fucking kidding? There's Chinese children that have nightmares about me living under their bed. Like, it's a terrible world that you're walking into right now. And so... And so I get, like, you get to realize, he gets to smell my breath and realize why I'm the coach. And that's a great thing. Like, cool, you're the star player. You're the next guy that's going to slam dunk for them. Fucking watch me give you that Rudy speech in the fucking locker room. Like, it's like, and like, it's so, that's what the difference is. And that's the way I want to talk to him. So that's how I feel about the battle. Like, win, lose, or draw, that's the way I'm going to go in. That's the way I'm going into this. That I get to, like, bro, hold my dick. It's been hurting my back all day. You know? Like, so, like...
Straight up as a fan who has a passion in this shit.
And he's dope, man. And as long as he feels that very same way, then we're shooing for Battle of the Night again. We're main stage material. We're like... And he's capable of it, and so am I. So as long as we go in and really fucking foam at the mouth, then it'll be a really good one.
So what I want people to take away from this interview, I want to make sure they know sometimes you need a little break for creativity. You need to live a little bit.
Writer's block doesn't exist.
And from that, when you do come back, remember who the fuck you are. Remember the milestones that you've passed, all the great things you've done. So when you do take that little time away from this to live and become a better creator, recognize you still did great shit in the past.
Yeah, man. But never sell yourself short.
Yeah.
You forget. You never every one person that you've heard vocally support you. There's 10 that don't that watch you. So just be proud, man. Like you don't know who's out here rooting for you. And I didn't realize there were so many people rooting for me until I came back, and they're like, "I'm so happy to see you back. Like I'm so happy to see you still here. That you weren't washed of it." And like, man, that.
Oh, it's like it's crazy. Like I run into people that like I haven't seen in years. They never like anything on my Facebook, or I never see any interaction with them. But I run into them, and they tell me about this interview, and they tell me about this interview, and they're like, "Oh, okay, boom. Oh, it was cool when you did this," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Some people don't feel confident enough to say that they're part of a community. They're just they're just watching, right? Like they're just on the outskirts. So,
actually, funny story at work. Buddy Kyle, where my desk is, he works right across and processes fans. He's like, "Yo, heard me talking about rap the one day." He's like, "Yo, you know Eddie G?" He's like, "That's my bro." I'm gonna have to find his name and give him.
Okay, I gotta run. I gotta go home and cook
That's
dinner.
my icebreaker on my first.
If you got one more for me, hit me. But I gotta run.
Okay, no, we gotta be wrapping this up. This is Eddie G TV. Scot free.
Scot free. Boom. UCWT. Shout out to the whole team. Shout out to Dalton McEwen. Shout out to fucking Tipsy Russell. Fucking all of us trash bags out here. Everybody that's a social alcoholic or a comfortable addict, whatever you want to call yourself. We're out. We're all out here. Let the legions band together, man, and join the Cantankerous Union. Because I'm upset that the system was set up for me to succeed, and then it still failed me. So you know what I mean. And so I'm angry about that, and I'm not really happy that I'm not further along in life. So come see me at your local cheap drink establishment, yelling vicious hate speech in every flavor that it comes at somebody else that probably doesn't deserve it, that's there in the same walk of life as me. Whip, whip, whim. Eddie G is the E40 of Bell City, G40, Scot free.
Let's go.
Represent.
I thought you pulled your titties out. I'm like, that's represent, just titties hanging in the thing.